Over the past few years, some of the biggest studios have pushed games to a whole new level. With bigger budgets and better technology, these new releases look incredibly realistic. And here are 25 of the most brutal games releasing soon. Project Retrograde is a third-person action game that might remind you a bit of The Evil Within, especially with how it blends horror, tension, and survival in a broken world. It drops you into a post-apocalyptic underground world where humanity's last safe haven has already collapsed. The disaster comes from an ancient parasite called Luca, and instead of killing you, it bonds with you, turning you into something that's both human and something else. Combat mixes gunplay and close combat, almost like a gun-fu style. You can switch between different fighting styles depending on what abilities you absorb. One moment you're fighting up close, the next you're using precise ranged attacks. The system lets you combine skills freely, so fights feel fast and flexible. What makes it stand out is the risk tied to your power. The parasite makes you stronger, but using it too much can slowly take control.
Nice work, Hunter.
Yeah, I got it done, but I don't know, is that me or him?
Find that surface agent. She can help.
What's the target?
Sean Anderson. He's behind the recent mutation.
And they sent you in alone?
That's not relevant to you. Follow me, and don't die.
The whole underground was infested. They abandoned us, slandered us. Wait, who are you?
Where are they taking them? Can you hear me?
They do. They hear everything. But you don't let them speak.
No. It's not about me. I won't ask again.
It's all about you.
Metro 2039 brings the series back to what made it special in the first place: the dark, claustrophobic tunnels beneath Moscow. After Metro Exodus leaned into a more open-world approach, this one shifts back underground, focusing on tighter spaces, heavier atmosphere, and a much more intense survival tone. The story follows new character called The Stranger. He's dealing with nightmares and is forced to return to the Metro, a place he tried to leave behind. Meanwhile, the tunnels are no longer just about survival. They're controlled by a new authoritarian regime called the Novitiate, spreading fear and propaganda while preparing for war. Gameplay sticks to the core Metro formula but refines it. It's still a mix of shooting, stealth, and survival, where resources are limited and every encounter matters. You'll explore handcrafted environments filled with small details, what the developers call frozen stories, where objects, bodies, and surroundings hint at what happened before you got there.
Today, you and I will strip bare the world and reveal its intoxicating horror. Today is your awakening.
The Directorate Novitiate blends modern crime with supernatural elements in a way that feels pretty fresh. It's set in an alternate version of early 2000s Los Angeles, where street gangs, secret organizations, and dark forces all collide in the same world. You play as Kana, also known as Mercury, who gets pulled into this hidden side of reality she never even knew existed. The game splits your life into two sides. During the day, you're living a normal life, building relationships and making choices that affect how people see you. At night, everything changes. You're dealing with supernatural threats, tracking dangerous targets, and getting deeper into a conflict between hidden factions. Gameplay focuses on fast, third-person combat with a mix of guns and magic. You're constantly moving, dodging, shooting, and using abilities in the same flow. As you progress, you unlock new skills and upgrades that change how you approach fights and give you more control over your playstyle. The Sinking City 2 takes the series in a pretty bold new direction. Instead of leaning heavily on detective work like the first game, it goes all in on survival horror. This time, you're exploring a flooded version of Arkham in the 1920s. You play as a survivor, trying to figure out what actually caused the city's collapse, all while dealing with creatures that feel like they came straight out of a Lovecraft nightmare. The city itself is half underwater, so getting around isn't just walking from place to place. You'll be moving through flooded streets, exploring abandoned buildings, and even using boats to reach different areas. The gameplay leans into exploration, combat, and resource management. Ammo is limited, so every shot matters. You'll be scavenging for supplies and managing your inventory carefully, because even a single encounter can drain your resources fast. You'll be using period-accurate firearms along with melee weapons, and different enemies push you to adapt, whether that means aiming for weak points or reacting quickly to fast, aggressive attacks. Saros is one of those games that immediately stands out because of how intense and fast it looks. You're dropped onto an alien planet called Carcosa, where a constant eclipse is messing with everything. Gameplay leans into fast-paced third-person shooting mixed with roguelite mechanics. That means every run is different, and when you die, you come back stronger with permanent upgrades. Instead of starting over from nothing, you slowly build your character over time, unlocking new weapons, abilities, and gear. Combat focuses on movement, timing, and reading enemy patterns. You're dodging waves of projectiles, using a special shield to absorb attacks, then turning that energy into powerful counterattacks. It creates this constant flow where you're switching between defense and offense in the middle of chaos.
I search for you and find only death. But I always come back stronger.
Kayla, he's returned to us.
The sun is forever. And so am I.
Directive 8020 puts you on a deep space colony ship called Cassiopeia that crashes on a hostile alien planet. Things go bad fast when the crew realizes something on the planet isn't just waiting outside, it's already inside the ship with them. The game comes from Supermassive Games, the team behind Until Dawn and The Quarry. They're sticking to what they do best here. Cinematic horror where the story changes based on your choices, and small decisions can completely shift who lives or dies. Gameplay still has that branching narrative system where your decisions change how events unfold, but now it's more interactive in real time. A big mechanic is the alien mimic system. The creature can copy crew members, meaning you constantly question who is safe and who might not be human anymore. You can use scanning tools and ship systems to try and figure things out.
Those things can change shape.
Don't you ever point that thing at me again.
Scan complete. Subject unidentifiable.
We need urgent assistance.
way you're wrong. I'm just getting started.
Tomb Raider Catalyst brings Lara Croft back in a completely new chapter, but this time, she's no longer the inexperienced survivor. She's already a seasoned explorer at the top of her game. The story takes place in northern India after a mysterious cataclysm exposes ancient ruins and awakens something dangerous hidden beneath them. This adventure puts Lara in a race against other treasure hunters who are also drawn to the same location, each trying to claim the power hidden within the ruins. Gameplay is expected to stay true to modern Tomb Raider style, third-person action, exploration, and puzzle solving, but on a much larger scale. Early details mention this being the biggest Tomb Raider world yet, with large areas to explore, environmental puzzles, and more freedom in how you approach each location. Mudang 2 Hearts looks really interesting because it mixes stealth, action, and sci-fi thriller. The game is set in a near-future Korea, where a possible reunification between North and South suddenly falls apart after a major terrorist attack in Seoul. You follow two main characters from completely different worlds, a North Korean Special Forces soldier named Ji Jung-tae and a K-pop star named Gavi. Their stories slowly connect as they uncover something much bigger happening behind the scenes, involving manipulation and hidden agendas. Gameplay is built around tactical stealth mixed with action, giving you full freedom in how you approach situations. You can stay hidden, move through shadows, use gadgets and take enemies out quietly, or switch to close combat and gunfights when things go wrong. The levels are designed to be open-ended, letting you climb, sneak through vents, set traps, or create your own path through each mission. Kena, Scars of Kosmora, brings Kena back in a new chapter where she's no longer a beginner, she's older, more experienced, and already known as a spirit guide. Her journey takes her to a new place called Kosmora, an island filled with secrets, broken history, and a corruption that's slowly taking over everything. This time, the focus shifts to Kena herself. She's not just helping spirits move on, she's also dealing with something that's been affecting her for a long time. When her staff gets damaged, it changes how she fights and uses her abilities, pushing her to rely more on elemental powers instead of what she's used to. Gameplay builds on what worked before, but adds more variety. You still explore, solve puzzles, and fight enemies, but now there's more focus on using elemental abilities and working with spirit companions. These companions help in both combat and exploration.
It's been a long time since we've had one of your kind in Kosmora. I'm glad you're here. That temple has been sealed as long as I can remember. Dangerous corruption was locked inside, along with the secrets of a forgotten practice.
Port Desire. A city that don't belong to anyone, but everyone wants a piece. No laws, no oversight. Just the jungle creeping back in. Both the vines and the people. The mayor stepped in where the government couldn't. Said the city needed order, and they'd be the ones to bring it. Keeping the peace on their terms. I walked away from it all. kept my hands in dirt instead of blood. But desire is a fickle mistress. The city won't...
No Law drops you into a city where rules basically don't exist anymore. The setting is Port Desire, a neon-soaked port city full of gangs, corruption, and people doing whatever they want to survive. You follow Gray Harker, an ex-soldier who just wanted a quiet life, but gets pulled back into chaos after something personal is taken from him. The gameplay is built around freedom. It's a first-person, open-world shooter RPG where you can handle situations however you want. You can move through the city quietly using stealth, or go all out with heavy gunfights. Both approaches are supported, and the world reacts to how you play. What makes it interesting is how much your choices matter. Helping someone, ignoring them, or taking them out can change how the world reacts to you. The story isn't fixed either. Different decisions can lead to different outcomes. The Grass of Genesis caught a lot of attention, mainly because of how real and detailed it looks. The game is built using Unreal Engine 5 and designed around cloud technology, which means it can push high-end visuals without relying entirely on your hardware. From what's been shown, the gameplay is a third-person action-adventure with a mix of shooting, close combat, and cinematic movement. You move through large environments, take down enemies in fast-paced encounters, and transition smoothly between gameplay and story moments without hard cuts. Combat looks focused on momentum. You're not just standing and shooting, you're moving, reacting, and chaining actions together, whether that's using weapons, getting in close, or interacting with the environment during fights. There's still some uncertainty around how much of it is final gameplay versus a technical showcase, but the visual quality and presentation already have people talking. Brokenlore Dark Dawn goes for a more personal kind of horror instead of just throwing enemies at you. The story centers around a character dealing with trauma and inner conflict, and the game slowly pulls you into that mindset as things start to feel more unstable. The environments shift a lot as you play. You'll move through spaces that seem normal at first, then suddenly change in ways that don't make sense. It keeps you guessing, because you're never fully sure what's real and what isn't. Gameplay is mostly exploration, with light interaction and puzzle solving. You're walking through different areas, picking up clues, and trying to piece together what's actually going on. There's not much focus on combat, so the tension comes from the atmosphere and the way the game builds pressure over time. What makes it interesting is how it focuses on psychological horror. Instead of loud moments, it leans into discomfort, sound design, and visuals that stay with you.
What is happening to me? What is this place? Dirty water.
Phantom Blade Zero comes from a Chinese studio, and after the success of games like Black Myth Wukong, a lot of people are paying closer attention to projects like this. What stands out right away is how fast and clean the combat looks. Gameplay is built around high-speed sword fighting with precise timing. You're constantly attacking, dodging, and parrying, trying to keep control of the fight. It's not button mashing. Timing matters, especially when you're deflecting enemy attacks or looking for openings. There's also a strong focus on combo chaining and flow. You can link different moves together, switch weapons, and use special skills to keep pressure on enemies. The goal is to stay aggressive while still reacting to what's happening around you. What makes it click is how smooth everything feels. Movement, attacks, and animations all connect in a way that makes combat look and feel satisfying.
You know better than anyone else. That no one could escape.
Everyone wears a mask! You too!
This is a real face!
He let you live? What secret did you sell him?
Perceptum takes a really different approach to horror by focusing on your senses instead of combat. You play as a medium investigating a family that disappeared inside a house, and from the moment you step in, everything feels slightly off, like the place doesn't want you there. Gameplay is built around two main mechanics that make it stand out. First, you use a mirror to reveal things you normally can't see. Hidden clues, disturbing reflections, and sometimes things you probably wish you didn't notice. Second, you can actually close your eyes to listen for sounds and whispers from beyond, which helps you find your way. Most of the experience is about exploring the house, solving simple puzzles, and paying attention to small details. There's no real fighting system, so the tension comes from not having control. The game plays with silence, sound, and the feeling that something is always just behind you, even when you don't see it. Builds its identity around fast, intense combat, and a world shaped by fallen gods. The story follows a warrior whose goal is simple but brutal. Take down powerful beings that once ruled everything, and deal with the consequences of that power shifting. Gameplay focuses on high-speed action with a mix of melee combat, abilities, and movement. You're constantly attacking, dodging, and reacting to enemies that hit hard and don't give you much time to think. Fights are built around learning patterns, finding openings, and staying aggressive without getting careless. There's also a strong emphasis on skill progression and build variety. As you move forward, you unlock new abilities, upgrade weapons, and shape your playstyle depending on how you approach combat, whether that's more aggressive, defensive, or ability-focused.
No. Deep within these folds of flesh, you and I both know. Death has judged us rightly. For we are but beasts, unworthy of salvation.
Hunger takes place in a version of Europe that's been completely destroyed by a mysterious plague. It's set during a twisted version of the Napoleonic era, where war is already bad, but now something worse has turned people into horrifying creatures. Gameplay is built around an extraction loop. You go into dangerous areas to search for loot, complete objectives, and try to make it out alive. If you succeed, you keep everything and grow stronger. If you fail, you lose what you were carrying. That risk is what drives every decision you make. Combat mixes guns and melee weapons. You can fight up close with axes or blades, or keep distance with firearms depending on your playstyle. At the same time, you're dealing with both monsters and other players, so every encounter feels unpredictable. There's also a full RPG system behind it. You level up your character, unlock skills, craft gear, and even choose professions that let you gather or create items.
They'll worship you until you fail. Then what?
You're no god.
Neither are they.
Mortal Shell 2 builds on the first game, but goes bigger with its world and combat. You're still controlling a body inhabited by a lost soul, but this time the world feels more open and less confined, giving you more freedom to explore instead of moving through tight paths. Combat sticks to that heavy, methodical style, but it feels faster and more flexible. Timing still matters a lot. You need to read enemy attacks, dodge at the right moment, and strike when you see an opening. The signature harden mechanic returns, letting you turn your body to stone mid-fight to block damage, which adds a unique layer to every encounter. There's also more variety in how you build your character. Different shells, weapons, and abilities let you shape your playstyle, whether you prefer staying aggressive or playing more carefully and waiting for the right moment. Arc 2 takes a survival formula from the first game and pushes it further, but with some big changes that make it feel different. You're still trying to survive in a dangerous world full of dinosaurs, but the gameplay now leans more into third-person action with a heavier focus on combat and movement. You gather resources, craft tools, build shelters, and tame creatures, just like before. But everything feels more dynamic and reactive. Combat is one of the biggest upgrades. Instead of basic fighting, it introduces Souls-like mechanics where timing really matters. You can dodge, block, parry, and chain attacks together, so fights feel more skill-based instead of just trading hits. The world itself is still built around survival systems: hunting, managing hunger, building bases, and taming dinosaurs. But it's designed to feel more alive, with ecosystems and events that react to what players do.
All that I know from their Earth are the creatures they sent along with us. And here on Arat, every day is a fight to survive. But if anyone can tame this new world, we can.
Been brought back. You must gather the fragments of the great relic and seal the void. Without you, no one else can accomplish this.
The Relic First Guardian focuses on a fallen world where ancient power is tied to a mysterious relic. You play as a Guardian whose role is to protect that power while uncovering what really happened to the land. Gameplay leans into fast, skill-based combat with a mix of melee attacks, abilities, and movement. Timing matters a lot. Dodging, countering, and finding the right moment to strike is key, especially against tougher enemies and bosses that hit hard and punish mistakes. There's also a build system that lets you shape how you play. Different weapons, gear, and abilities can be combined in ways that change your approach to combat. whether you prefer staying aggressive or playing more carefully and reacting to enemies. Exploration connects everything together. As you move through different regions, you unlock new paths, find upgrades, and slowly piece together the world's story. Areas are designed to reward curiosity, not just pushing forward.
Billion suns in the known universe. So why do we deny other intelligent beings? It is said, if they were out there, they would have visited Earth. My answer is, maybe they will visit us. But time has not come yet for this. The dawn of a new era. The era of Atomic Heart 2.
Atomic Heart 2 takes that strange, retro, futuristic world from the first game and pushes it even further. The setting still mixes Soviet aesthetics with advanced robotics, but this time everything feels more unstable, like the system is completely breaking down. Gameplay keeps the first-person perspective, but expands how you fight and move. You're using a mix of firearms, melee weapons, and glove-based abilities that let you control enemies, manipulate objects, or create openings during combat. It's not just about shooting, it's about combining tools in the moment to stay in control when things get chaotic. Encounters feel more unpredictable. Enemies react differently, environments play a bigger role, and fights can shift quickly depending on how you approach them. You might start with ranged attacks, then switch to close combat, then use abilities to reset the situation. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag Remake feels like a return to one of the most loved pirate adventures, but rebuilt to match modern standards. You're back as Edward Kenway, not as a perfect hero, but as someone chasing freedom, money, and a place in a world full of chaos. What makes this version interesting is how much the world itself carries the experience. Sailing isn't just a way to travel, it's the core of the game. You control your ship, manage your crew, spot enemy vessels in the distance, and decide whether to hunt, escape, or take the risk. Ocean storms, waves, and random encounters make every trip feel a little unpredictable. Combat blends naval battles with close-range action. Ship fights are about positioning, timing your cannons, and boarding at the right moment. Once you're on deck, it switches into fast sword combat, where you're reacting to multiple enemies at once. It's quick, a bit messy, but fits the pirate vibe perfectly.
Adventure. All right, let's set sail.
Dash my buttons. Your life seems a grand one, if I may say. So full of adventure.
You play as Captain Edward Kenway, a rebellious scoundrel eager to make a name for himself in the pursuit of glory, freedom, and a search for a better life.
I've seen your face before. You's mates with them pirates down in Nassau.
Shut your bloody gob or I'll fill it with shot, you hear me?
Edward, is it?
After crossing paths...
Armatus goes for a mix you don't see that often. Guns, supernatural powers, and a dark, ruined version of Paris overrun by demons. The world feels completely broken, with survivors barely holding on while everything else has turned into something way more dangerous. Gameplay is built around a roguelite loop, so every run feels a little different. You go in, fight through waves of enemies, collect upgrades, and try to push further than before. If you die, you restart, but you come back stronger, with better understanding of how to handle each situation. Combat is fast and aggressive. You're using a mix of firearms, melee weapons like a scythe, and special abilities that let you do things like slow time or unleash powerful attacks. It's not just about shooting, it's about combining everything together and finding a playstyle that works for you. As you keep playing, you unlock new abilities and upgrades that stack into stronger builds. Marvel 1943, Rise of Hydra takes place during World War II, where Captain America and Black Panther are forced to work together to stop Hydra. Instead of a typical superhero story, this one leans more into a grounded war setting, with espionage, tension, and characters who don't fully trust each other at the start. The game is built as a story-driven action-adventure, and one confirmed detail is that you'll play from multiple perspectives, switching between 4 characters: Captain America, Black Panther, Azuri, Gabriel Jones, and Nanali. When it comes to gameplay, official details are still limited. What has been confirmed so far is that it will mix combat, stealth, and cinematic set pieces to support its story and mission design. That means you can expect action moments, sneaking sections, and scripted sequences, but the full depth of mechanics hasn't been fully revealed yet.
Our Cap friend is definitely here too. By the look of things, he's not very far ahead.
The American boy is right on your heels.
Who the hell are you?
If you wanted us dead, we'd be dead. So what do you want?
Answers.
That's far enough! Stay out of my way! Stand aside! I do not take orders from anyone!
I don't have time for this.
Neither do I.
John Wick game is finally happening, and it's being built as a full AAA experience that actually tries to capture how John Wick fights, not just copy the name. The game is a single-player, third-person action title, and everything is built around that signature gun-fu style. That means you're not just shooting from cover, you're mixing close-range combat, grappling, and fast transitions between enemies, just like in the movies. Right now, full gameplay hasn't been fully revealed yet, but the direction is clear. This isn't meant to be a generic shooter. It's trying to recreate that tight, controlled, close-quarters action that defines John Wick, where every move feels deliberate and every fight looks like it belongs in a movie scene. There's also a strong cinematic layer. The game uses dynamic camera work, detailed environments, and even driving sequences to make everything feel like you're inside the movie instead of just playing a standard action game.
Unrestricted.
He must be versatile, capable, adaptable.
The Witcher 4 marks the start of a completely new saga in the Witcher universe. This isn't a direct continuation of Geralt's story, it's a fresh chapter set in the same world, with new characters, new conflicts, and a different direction for the series. What's confirmed so far is the shift to Unreal Engine 5, which is a big move for CD Projekt Red. The goal is to build a more detailed and reactive open world, with better lighting, larger environments, and smoother performance compared to their previous tech. For gameplay, official details are still limited. The developers have confirmed it will stay a story-driven open-world RPG, with a strong focus on player choice, exploration, and branching outcomes. Even without full gameplay details, this is easily one of the most anticipated RPGs, simply because of what the series represents and how big this new chapter is expected to be.
Save the village! This tradition! I was chosen to represent you! So thank you!